Information Security in the 21st Century, Part 4, Political Freedom and Interception of Personal Information. Hello. Today, during our talk, I would like to discuss two critical issues of the 21st century: political freedom and interception of citizens' personal information. There are huge disputes in mass media and on the Internet about the fine line between the fight against terrorism and personal freedom of citizens. I believe that the famous poet and historian Alexander Pushkin answered that question best of all 200 years ago. When he learned that his letter to his wife Natalia was intercepted and reported to the Tsar, he wrote, "The thought that someone is intercepting our correspondence infuriates me. It is possible to live without political freedom, but it is impossible to live without family inviolability. Even penal servitude is much better." Just think about this interesting fact. In 200 years, none of our Russian Democrats and politicians has expressed this idea. I met Dmitry Sakharov and Alexander Solzhenitsyn and discussed that question with them. In his book, The Third Circle, Solzhenitsyn actually wrote about cryptographers who created cryptographic equipment. But he never gave his opinion about the problems of political freedom during his lectures. Why have none of the liberal, communist, or even modern democratic leaders ever addressed this question like Pushkin? I will give you another example of a person who lived 200 years ago. It was U.S. President Thomas Jefferson who created the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. He was also an outstanding cryptographer of his time. Cryptographic equipment, which he personally designed, was used for over 100 years. This is an outstanding achievement. Thomas Jefferson believed that the only reliable cryptography, the cryptography which nobody could intercept, brought independence to the USA. Two people on two different continents introduced the same idea. Was it just a coincidence? I don't think so. Probably it is one of the development milestones of democracy. Now the world is entangled by a huge number of monitoring and supervision systems that continually scrutinize people, organizations, and other countries. We all know that nobody has canceled radio reconnaissance. Each country has the right to have radio reconnaissance bodies according to its legislation. But today, the functions of radio reconnaissance are much broader than in the 20th century. Early radio prospecting mostly supervised the state communication lines, such as telegraph and telephones. Now, any radio prospecting, and I emphasize that it is quite legal, can have access to personal computers of practically any person around the world. So, it is possible that when you turn on your computer, different secret services can legally manipulate the information in your computer and on your mobile phone. It's legal for the authorities according to the legislation of their countries, but illegal for citizens to practice in the country where they live. But who is responsible for the safety of your information? Pushkin was absolutely right that family inviolability is more significant than political freedom. The ingenious writer understood the importance of the problem in the future and the essence of real freedom. It is built from the bricks of information independence of each person. We will create a free country if the wall of freedom is constructed from such bricks. It is impossible to build a free country if the freedom, and first of all the freedom of information, is not provided for everyone.